Good evening, I'm Professor Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. We have some good news. Today we recorded the highest number of recoveries in a single day. Malaysia has recorded its highest number of daily recoveries to date, with 236 people being discharged after recovering from COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. This brings the total recoveries to 1,241 people, or 32.72%, almost a third of all COVID-19 cases. 2,490 people are still being treated for the disease, following an addition of 131 new cases. Health Ministry Director General Dr. Norisham Abdullah also reported one new death, bringing the total death toll to 62. Previously, SMEs said they didn't get much out of the stimulus package announced by the government. Today, they got a special package designed specifically for them. Here's more on that.
To my fellow Malaysians, let us remember that we are inherently resilient, individually capable and collectively strong to face these uncertain times. Let us strengthen our resolve and stay committed to our fight against COVID-19. Let us stay the course and follow all orders made under the MCO. It is difficult, but certainly not impossible. This is the sacrifice we are called to make in order to win this war against the deadly virus. And winning this war starts in our own homes and with our families.
Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin said this after he announced a stimulus package with an allocation of 10 billion ringgit for SMEs. 7.9 billion ringgit of the package will go to expanding the 3-month wage subsidy scheme announced on March 27th from 5.9 billion ringgit to 13.8 billion ringgit. This scheme covers all employees with a salary of 4,000 ringgit a month and below. They must be working in a legally registered company as of January 1st and have contributed to Perkeso. Companies that opt in for the scheme must retain their staff for at least 6 months. Apart from this, Muhyiddin also announced grants which amounted to 2.1 billion ringgit, which will benefit 700,000 micro SMEs. The government will provide a 3,000 ringgit grant to companies that qualify, among others. Muhyiddin also appealed to private landlords to slash rental rates by at least 30% for SMEs during the MCO and 3 months after. He said landlords can seek tax relief equivalent to the amount of rental foregone from April until June. Compliance with the MCO was going well, with the number of daily arrests of violators dropping every day. That all changed over the weekend, which saw a 50% spike. Defence Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said that 293,051 vehicles were checked at 743 roadblocks around the country yesterday. He said due to a rise in positive COVID-19 cases, authorities have taken tougher actions against individuals found to have breached the movement control order, and that there was an increase in the number of people arrested.
PDRM telah menahan seramai 554 individu di sekatan jalan raya dan juga rondaan kerana melanggar PKP. Jumlah yang ditangkap semalam meningkat berbanding dengan 368 tangkapan pada hari sebelumnya. Ianya menunjukkan peningkatan penangkapan sebanyak 51%. Kalau sebelum ini saya merasa bangga kerana setiap hari berlaku dari segi peratusan penangkapannya berkurangan selama 3-4 hari berturut-turut. Hari ini semalam tiba-tiba meningkat kepada 51%.
Ismail said that of those arrested, 489 were remanded, 65 were released on bail and 213 have been charged. He urged the public to continue abiding the order and to cooperate with the authorities. He added that 6,048 individuals have been arrested for breaching the MCO since its enforcement on March 18th up until yesterday. Malaysian prisons are already overcrowded, and with so many MCO violators possibly facing prison time, the pressure mounts. Malaysian prisons have been vastly overcrowded even before the implementation of the movement control order, and now with MCO violators being sent to jail, things are only getting worse. There are currently 73,000 prisoners being housed in 50 prison facilities nationwide. that was only meant to hold 52,000 inmates. In a leaked letter recently, the Prisons Department even told the courts to stop jailing people for violating the MCO. It said the move is causing overcrowding in prisons where social distancing is impossible. Furthermore, the department said it is not known if the new prisoners being sent to jail are infected with COVID-19. A COVID-19 outbreak in prison would be disastrous, as it would spread uncontrollably and threaten the lives of prisoners and prison staff. Speaking on the matter, PKR President Anwar Ibrahim said the issue extends beyond overcrowding alone.
Tahanan tu kadang-kadang perkara yang kecil-kecil itu. Sekarang ini saya bayangkan, nelayan ditangkap, langgar ini perintah kawalan, 3 bulan penjara. Orang besar di Monkiara 1 bulan penjara. Saya suka cita kerana Ketua Hakim Negara tadi mengeluarkan kenyataan, memberikan pertimbangan kerana kesesakan penjara. Tapi isunya bukan saja kesesakan penjara, isunya keadilan.
Anwar, who has first-hand experience of life in prison, also recalled how prisons were already overcrowded in the past.
Tadi Ketua Pengarah Penjara memberitahu tentang kesesakan penjara. Bukan perkara baru. Saya pernah keluarkan kenyataan itu di mahkamah. Penjara Sungai Buloh itu patut muat 2,500 orang. Pada ketika itu sudah 5,000 orang. Staf sama. Dan masa itu penyakit TB, HIV dan sebagainya, risiko pada staf pun banyak. Dan lepas saya bebas, saya bertemu dengan Menteri Dalam Negeri yang sekarang Perdana Menteri menyebut perkara ini.
On Sunday, Chief Justice Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat had urged judges to take into consideration prison overcrowding when sentencing those who violate the MCO. Roadblocks are everywhere these days to make sure people stay at home during the MCO. And for those who aren't too happy about it, the IGP has a message for you. Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid Badr wants Malaysians to stop blaming the police for traffic congestion due to roadblocks. He said the roadblocks were set up to curb the spread of COVID-19 and to ensure compliance of the movement control order. Abdul Hamid said in the event of traffic congestions during roadblocks, the public should be patient as the police were doing their job to ensure only those who are allowed to leave their homes could pass through. He also advised those who are not on the list of essential services to understand the MCO regulations. Abdul Hamid expressed regret over the attitude of some members of the public in criticizing the police for setting up roadblocks throughout the country. He said that people should not complain about trivial issues, such as traffic congestion of 10 to 15 minutes on highways or in town centres. Now you see it, now you don't. That's the case for Heineken Malaysia after the government decided to revoke its approval after granting it. Heineken Malaysia's approval to continue its operation during the movement control order period has been revoked by Putrajaya.
Hari ini di dalam mesyuarat khas mesyuarat khas kabinet yang dipengusikan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, kita telah pun membuat keputusan bahawa kelulusan yang diberikan itu terbatal ataupun dibatalkan.
This came after several leaders from ruling parties Bersatu, UMNO and PAS criticised the government for making such a decision when alcohol was not an essential product. Taking to Twitter, Federal Territories Minister Anwar Musa said the approval for the alcohol beverage manufacturer to work was not in line with EMCO policy and was cancelled this morning. Previously, in a letter dated March 31st, the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry agreed that the alcoholic beverage producer was a food supply operator and therefore can operate during the partial lockdown. The MCO was supposed to end on March 31st but was extended until April 14th. Under the MCO, all non-essential businesses and services must close while people are only allowed to leave their homes for pressing reasons such as to restock on food supply. Coming up next, Boris Johnson has been admitted after suffering COVID-19 symptoms, and the United States is expecting the worst. All that and more after this. This story is brought to you by Blue Air. COVID-19 has put the first leader of a major power in hospital. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was admitted to hospital on Sunday after suffering persistent coronavirus symptoms 10 days after testing positive for the virus. In a statement, his Downing Street office said Johnson was admitted to hospital for treatment as a precautionary step on advice from his doctor. News of his hospitalisation came only hours after Queen Elizabeth delivered a rallying call for the British public, saying they would overcome the coronavirus outbreak if they stayed resolute.
Together we are tackling this disease, and I want to reassure you that if we remain united and resolute, then we will overcome it. I am speaking to you at what I know is an increasingly challenging time, a time of disruption in the life of our country, a disruption that has brought grief to some, financial difficulties to many, and enormous changes to the daily lives of us all. We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again.
Johnson on March 27th became the first leader of a major power to announce that he had tested positive for the virus. He went into isolation at an apartment in Downing Street and said he was staying there as he still had a high temperature. Health officials said on Sunday that UK death toll from the coronavirus had risen from 621 to 4,934. The situation across the Atlantic, from where Boris Johnson is being admitted, isn't doing any better. The United States is bracing for a big jump in fatalities.
And there'll be a lot of death, unfortunately.
This is the grim statement made by US President Donald Trump as he told Americans to brace for a big spike in coronavirus fatalities in the coming days. He said this as the country faces what he called the toughest 2 weeks of the pandemic. He also pushed back on criticism that the federal government had not done enough to get ventilators that many critically ill coronavirus patients need to survive to the states, saying some governors are asking for more machines than they will need. The United States has the world's highest number of known cases of COVID-19. More than 300,000 people have tested positive in the United States, and over 8,300 have died, according to a Reuters tally. White House medical experts have forecast that between 100 to 240,000 Americans could be killed in the pandemic, even if orders to stay home are followed. 1,000 military personnel, including military doctors and nurses, are being sent to New York City, which accounts for more than a quarter of U.S. coronavirus deaths.
Thousands of soldiers, thousands of medical workers, professionals, nurses, doctors.
The disease has now killed over 3,500 people in New York, and the situation is particularly worrying on Long Island, east of New York City. Health experts calculate that New York, home to both bustling Manhattan and hilly farm country stretching to the Canadian border, might be around a week away from the worst point in the health crisis. Almost all Americans are under orders from state and local officials to stay home, except for essential outings such as grocery shopping or seeing a doctor. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Michael. Thank you for watching.